I guess it's time to talk about it. TPG, that poor guy. I say things about that poor guy. I've been saying it for years, and I get comments with people that seem like they're threatening. Are you threatening me? Like they're threatening me. And they're like, who's that poor guy? Oh my God. Why do I even have to say it? These people asking these questions, if they can't figure out who that poor guy is before they ask the question, then they're just trying to come across as threatening. Because I mentioned that poor guy's children. I mentioned Ivanka. I talk about her, how much he wanted her. I talk about Eric, how he's just standing there. And I even talk about Don Jr., how jealous he is. It's like, what do you mean how jealous he is? This is before Barron showed his face and was all sheepish like he's been his entire life sitting there, and they fucking made him stand up because he went to his dad's thing, and all of a sudden the cultists started chanting. It's the first image they've had of Barron. He doesn't know he's the next fucking, what do you call it? He's the prince of darkness. He's the son of that Senator Thorne guy that was an ambassador or whatever the hell he was in the Oma movies. He's Damien Thorne. He's like, he's kept away from everything, and he can't stand to be around anybody. I'm sure he's getting fucking accosted by the kids in school. He must be, because he doesn't look very friendly at all. It's like watching somebody come into work on work release from Eldwood Correctional Facility outside of San Jose. They come in just looking like they've been fucking ravaged all night long. He's got that confused look. So I talk about him too. And well, there's the interesting thing when they showed him the other day, and he's like, gets up a little bit, and then they start chanting his name, Baron, 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 Baron. And he gets up, and for the first time in my life, I saw what I'd hoped never to see, because his mother was trying to keep him away from this stuff. I saw him feel the glory. The love he never got from his father is coming from his father's followers, and they're like, and he's like, ha! He starts making this stupid fist bump thing. He doesn't even know what that means. And yeah, I saw my dad do, and I'm like, oh shit! Now he's all wrapped into the power too. And the thing about him, he knows he's going to be from one of these wealthy families that didn't leave anything to the kids that they spent it, and they've got a good name like in old colonies and stuff in H.P. Lovecraft stories, but they've got no money. So he's just like, all I've got is this fucking fame coming to me. So now he's gonna twist. Somehow they got him caught up in some coin sales thing. So well, that's what all it takes to become a good fucking loyalist, is to commit a crime that can be used against you, not by a court of law, but by your fucking emperor. So anybody wants to say, who's that poor guy? Come on, man. Why do you call him that poor guy? Some people get upset and say, "Oh, you can't call him poor. You're gonna feel bad for this guy." No, I don't feel bad for him. I've said it for years now. I knew as soon as all this stuff started coming up that he's going to be a broke ass father, and he's just going to be poor. Right now, he's spending the money of his followers, and he's actually doing what he's done his whole life. He is broke right now, like he told Ivanka. And see, even Don Jr. was like, I was never on the Epstein list. He said that like he was jealous, because there's a picture of Ivanka and Eric sitting on that poor guy's lap next to Epstein on an airplane. He's like, why did Eric and Ivanka get to go to Epstein Island and I didn't? You know, either he doesn't know what happened to them and so he's not afraid, or he wishes it had happened to him too so he could be one with the pack. But this whole guy's life, that poor guy, you know, he's bankrupted everything he touches, and now he wants to bankrupt the USA just to get a hug from Putin. Didn't get enough hugs from his own daddy. Now, as I say, he's been doing the same thing his whole life. Right now, he's so broke. He wouldn't be actually able to do anything if he wasn't stuck in this place where he's like, they can't take it from me just yet, which they could if they chose to, but they haven't. And everything's changing because of the way things are. But right at this point, the same way he was waiting for his father to die so he could get his inheritance, this thing with this Truth Social site of his, he's waiting until like September or something in there where he can get money from it. He's lived his entire life waiting for somebody to give him money, which tells me that he's never made a dollar of his own outside of a swindle. And swindlers don't usually make it to the presidency, but something's happened. He's become better. You talk about somebody that sold their soul. That's too much to say. Yeah. He just sells anything he has available. And so whatever it is, he's with the Christians now. If the Satanists were on his side, he would be running with Anton LaVey as his fucking vice president, even though he's dead. He can change the Constitution, say it doesn't matter. If it comes to that, he can put Barron in his place. But then you talk about how that Biden character, how he did on the debate. And this is what it comes to. I wanted you to know that poor guy, he's just feeding off of you. And people say, oh, why would somebody with that much money go into politics? He must be a good person. It's like, well, no. He's got enough money to get by, and he finds it hasn't done much for him inside. So he moves on to the next level of addiction after money. In his case, is power. And so he thinks he's getting power. And people around that really are as smart as he keeps saying they are. Putin and Xi, and not so sure about Kim Jong-il or Un or whatever his name is. But these people are smart enough to know that he's a fucking moron. I put all that out there first so we could talk about this Biden character. People say he should drop out after the debate. And I'm going to tell you this. I went in and I started watching the debate when it was on. I was like, okay, this is something that's going to need to be seen in person. And I watched for about 15 minutes, and we both looked at each other. I can't watch this anymore. So we shut down the thing. And I came back out to the studio and I meditated. And the next day, the next day, hearing all the awful things people had to say, I said, I need to see this again myself. And so the very next day, this is where I take away from you people that are in mainstream media type of stuff. Midas Touch talks about it all the time, how they just don't want to cover it. This is where I'm taking away from you bastards. CNN, we see how that works. Um, you're still holding on to this idea that he did a terrible job. I went out the very next day. I said, I need to watch this for myself and make an assessment of it because I know these people are going to be saying things. And I watched the whole 90-minute thing plus some. It was like an hour and 34 seconds or something that I watched maybe. And I watched the thing and I saw that poor guy lying with abandon. He didn't care. He knows everybody knows it's a lie, but he knows that every time he tells it, more people will forget. So he lived a life of lies that night. He looked good telling them, but then you've got this poor guy, Biden character. He's sitting there going, "What the hell are you talking about?" And Victoria kept just telling him to the TV. She's like, "Close your mouth." He looked stunned the whole time. And watching it the next day and watching the things he had to say versus the things that poor guy had to say, I'm like, that actually was a good debate. If you had had a couple of people that would be able to just look at that poor guy and say, bullshit. I mean, I know it's his word right now and it disgusts me to use it, but it's the only word that fits it properly. General Schwarzkopf once said bovine excrement or something. He said it in a way that he was able to say bullshit and people thought it was funny. But just bullshit, man. You want to decide? You want to know? I see these people asked all the time, what would it take for you not to vote for that poor guy? And the people look, say, there's nothing. How about this? How about this? How about somebody took, like your mother, your sister, even your best friend, even your best friend's sister that you've been meaning to marry your whole life and you haven't been able to get around to it because she's very prudish and wants true love. And you find out that one of these people that you know got taken up in a department store and was talking nice and friendly, and your mom, your sister, your best friend's sister, you find out they felt comfortable with him because he was just talking like a nice guy. And then you go through an experience that is loaded with shock the whole time, not knowing how to get away as you're getting sexually assaulted in a dressing room in a public place and you don't know what to do. And then you're treated like junk afterwards. Let's say that happened to your mother, your sister, your best friend, or your best friend's sister. Got raped totally off guard in a public place, feeling safe with the person they were with, who happens to be a monster that cares about nothing but what he wants right now. Is that enough to you, for you to decide that you wouldn't vote for him? Don't wait for somebody to do something for you personally. Understand that the guy that you don't think is doing anything is keeping people from doing things to you personally, because every bit that helps everyone keeps the next person from losing their mind entirely.